You're listening to The Educator's Edge with me, Lisa Ellum, the Educator's Advocate. This is the podcast where we unpack the art and science of adult learning, share real stories, and explore practical ways to sharpen our skills as teachers, trainers, and coaches of grown-ups.
This week, I want to talk about the work of a friend of mine, Johnny Go. He is talking about learning that bends you. It's interesting, isn't it? He calls it refractive learning. So we often talk about reflection when we're learning, making sense of the content that's delivered. Johnny reframes this into learning by refraction. Now, he talks about learning and the processes of learning that adults go through that bend learners and changes them. And so, like light going through a crystal, that when that light comes out the other side, they've got a different perspective. They're a different colour going in a different direction. And this, Johnny says, is what learning is supposed to do for adults. I like it. It's about the process of change. He talks about learning being transformational rather than transactional. And I think this is key. In learning, we are at a medium. We have our beliefs, our stories, our life experiences, and these all bend us and shape us into being the adults that we are. So learning that bends, Johnny says, isn't about control. It's about surrender. It's about surrendering to the transformation. So why does this matter to educators who want to teach adults well? It's because adults do not come to learning as blank slates. They bring layers of experience, of culture, and of knowledge. So true learning often feels disruptive, and I think we need to own that. Like the butterfly that emerges from the cocoon, they've had to struggle so that they can spread their wings. And this is when learning changes our whole perspective of the world. From what that caterpillar knew about the world inside the cocoon is very different to how they see the world outside. And like learners, when they come from learning, they've come into a different world and therefore they have a different experience of the world. Jack Mesro talks about transformative learning and how perspective shifts when we go through this critical thinking experience, this critical reflection. It's linked to neuroscience. You know, adult learning generally bends our neural pathways, where we saw the learner bend, not break, just bend under new insight. So think about it. What does reflection ask? For me, reflection asks, what did I just hear, listen to? What did I learn? Whereas refraction, we're asking how this learning has impacted them. How did they go through the process of processing and expanding this idea and putting it from that concrete content that we're delivering into being able to apply it in the real world environment. It's reflection, Johnny says, is holding up the mirror, whereas refraction is like stepping into the light and watching it move through us. What this allows us to do is, as educators, is to design learning that bends, creating those learning experiences that pass through, not just over learners. Encourage learners to journal about what they learn, to dialogue. That conversation, that student to student conversation is so powerful. And then use the storytelling to connect knowledge to identity. What do you know to be true? What did this experience show me about myself? What's bending in me right now because of the learning? And how might I act differently because of what and how I now understand? So we're reframing teaching as facilitating transformation. It's not just a transfer of knowledge. It's how does this sit and how we move knowledge from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. So, learning that bends you is rarely comfortable, but it's the kind of learning that stays, the kind that shapes and reshapes our direction and our education, not just knowledge. I'm sure you remember maybe hearing something a few times and then suddenly the light bulb has gone off. That learning has sunk deep inside you and it has become refractive. It's not just reshaping your direction. It's not just about our knowledge. It's about change and transformation. It refracts into wisdom. So until next time, keep teaching, keep growing, and keep letting yourself bend a little bit. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me on The Educator's Edge, where art meets science and natural teachers build skills. If you enjoyed this episode, follow along for more conversations about teaching grown-ups well. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, and keep teaching with heart.